what's up, everyone? Let me know if you can hear me. This is Dwayne, and this is Extreme Bronco Live. So we're here on this, I guess, busy Wednesday night here in America. We have a whole lot of stuff going on, and Gavin should be, I say should be, join us just a little bit. And let's jump right in and say hello to everyone. Bronco dude, what's going on? Thanks for your early comment. I appreciate you saying that. Let's pop this up here. You said, can't wait for this, and I really appreciate that. So I look forward to doing these live streams every Wednesday night and trying to bring some stuff. And this week's a little bit different. We're going to start bringing a little bit more content to you and sharing a lot more stuff. And I think that's what a lot of people have been asking for, but it's also what we want to do. We also have a guest with us tonight. He's in the green room, and we're going to bring him in. And you've probably know of him, and you've definitely seen his comments if you look at our live stream or others. And, let's go from there. Bronco dude, what is going on? Pezhead123, hello, hello. Steve P, hello from Phoenix. Well, hello, Southeastern Virginia here. Overlanding for fun. What did I win? Once again, I'm sorry you didn't win anything. But one of these days, we'll ship you out some merch or something like that. How's that? Bronco 78, good evening. What's going on? Dirk Connor, what is going on? TJ Miller, loud and clear. Thank you. Steve P. All right. There, once again, thanks for that. I always like knowing, because if you've watched our streams in the last year, you know that I get the technology gremlins kind of, attacking me. Yeah. Yes. No. Yeah. Gavin should be joining us a little bit late. Remember, school's back in. He has soccer. He has homework. He's a busy dude. So, but anyway, we're going to bring our guest in here in just a second. I think I hear Gavin somewhere. Dalton Deere just got my OBX yesterday. Love it. Awesome. Congratulations. That is absolutely awesome. How long were you waiting for it? I guess the thing is that it doesn't matter if you've waited a month or if you waited 2 years or whatever it is. I guess technically you couldn't order it until January 21. So that is technically the wait. Even though if you reserve one in 2020, I guess you were waiting then too, right? But you weren't waiting on the order. You waited a year for the opportunity to order, and then you've been waiting since whenever. It just seems like an eternity, but I'm so glad that, Ford has really done a good job pushing these Broncos out. Also for the 23, to be able to finish the builds that people have been waiting before new orders are being taken, I think was one of the best business decisions ever. Of course, it's good for PR. It's good for messaging. But let's say it's definitely good for the person that's been waiting for the Bronco. Andrea, what is going on? Thanks for that super sticker. I really appreciate you a lot. By the way, Andrea, he's been with us for a long time here watching our channel, and he has some really cool photography going on over on his Instagram. So, actually, the picture you posted today, I think it was like the sunset or something. That looks like that needs to be framed on a wall. It was perfect. So, Andrea, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And by the way, we're going to talk a little bit about the business side of YouTube, and your super sticker or your super chat greatly helps our channel and helps us do some really cool stuff and go really cool places and bring you some of that stuff. Just like I don't have a copy of it. I'll get Gavin to give me a copy of it later. But my book, Driven, it's getting new life. There's somebody that's very interested in promoting it, and anyway. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. Let's see. Mobile said I've been enjoying my seat heaters the last 2 weeks. Yeah, it's starting to get chilly in parts of the country. Parts of the country are chilly, and parts have a tropical cyclone happening right now. And I do want to say to everyone, I'm sure if you're in Florida right now, you're probably not watching this. But if you have family down there, or if you happen to be watching this, trying to get your mind off it, we're definitely thinking about you. I've been through hurricanes before, not to the scale of what's happening right now in Punta Gorda. I think it's Arcadia, let's see, where's the other place? South of St. Pete, which we have interest in St. Pete. We go to St. Pete, all the time, and south of St. Pete's, actually a place called Madeira Beach. And so the hurricane went just south of that. So Cape Coral and anywhere you're from there all the way up to Orlando off the east coast of Florida. Just our thoughts and prayers are with you. And hopefully everything works out there. And we're going to talk a little bit about the automotive industry with our guest about what I think is going to happen there. And look who we're joined by. Late. Hurry up before we bring our guest in, man. Better late than never. Mr. Homework, soccer, popular dude. You want to say hi to everyone? All right, here we go. Who's our mysterious guest? Now, if you read the comments, you saw his name, but I kind of wanted to keep it a secret because, hey, if you've watched our stream or Dave and Kelly's stream, you've seen the name, you've seen the comment, and tonight, the one, the only, the legend. What is going on? Can you hear me? Let me unmute you. Hey, what's going on, Des? How are you? Introduce yourself because I was, had you muted there in the very beginning.
No problem. I'm gone in 60. I currently have a 2019 Bullet. And if you follow the channel or follow the Instagram, I am now the owner of 2 Broncos, a 21 Outer Banks 4-door. And we just recently picked up a canceled order. And it is a Cyber Orange 2-door Outer Banks. And it's a 2.3 liter. So the wife hijacked that one. And that was a good thing because I wanted the 4-door, but it's really neat driving. I've been driving it, trying to break it in, and it's really neat the differences between the 2.7 and 2.3, and of course, the 4-door and the 2-door. But it's I'm a happy guy. Let's just say it that way. I don't think you can have too many Broncos at this time.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You actually, I really appreciated your comment. Somebody was the fact that you remember the comment when when I took delivery of the second Bronco and I got like grilled in the comments. I'm like, dude, I just reserved 2 and I ordered 2. I didn't pick when it was going to be built.
Yeah.
If it was up to me, I would have waited a year so other people could get it because we needed to replace the Rover, I guess. Well, we didn't need to. Becky could still be driving it today and she'd be happy with it until she drove the Bronco and then realized that she actually likes the Rover.
Sure.
And by the way, everybody, make sure you can hear Des okay. If you can hear him okay, let me know in the comments. But so Des, we basically met over comments here on YouTube, right? And so
Yes.
we're, you're always commenting on our videos, and I checked out your YouTube channel, which, by the way, we're going to mention that quite a bit tonight. I'm gone in 60 over on YouTube and as well as Instagram, like you just mentioned. Really good stuff there. I wanted to talk to you about the 2 Bronco thing, but let's get started into, tell us what you do. You're sort of in the automotive business. What do you do?
Yeah. So right now I'm a commercial salesman for a Jordan Ford. It's a local San Antonio Ford dealership. But I started in service as a service advisor. I did that for 2 years. 1 year at my old dealership here in San Antonio, and then I moved over here. It's closer to my house, and I was in service for 2 years, and it got really, really rough. With the COVID, there's parts constraints. There's the computer chip issue, and basically I found out people want their vehicles, and they want them like now. They want them like yesterday. Right. And it just got really, really hard. It was a lot of stress, and I got offered the commercial sales position, and it fit like a glove. I actually used to work on copiers over 20 years. I was a copier repairman, would travel to customers' businesses. And I was like, I have a lot of rapport with a lot of companies here that I used to be their copier technician. So I said, yeah, that sounds good. The commercial sales part, I get to travel to different businesses and try to get them to order. So now with vehicles coming in as slow as they are, I'm trying to get customers, whether it's on my commercial side or on my retail side, to get them used to ordering ahead of time.
Right.
So, a business, if their fleet vehicle crashes and it's, no longer, um, you know, an issue where you can repair it and it's just dead on arrival, you can't walk into a dealership and just buy another fleet vehicle. I mean, whether it's a F-150, F-250, a box truck, or, flatbed, something like that, they're not on the lots. So just conditioning retail customers and commercial customers that, hey, you need to order this ahead of time. Um, you know,
Yeah.
if you're gonna, keep your fleet going, just that mindset, it's challenging, but that's what we're trying to do right now.
Yeah, and think about that as a small business owner. Let's just say, I do a, mi- a lot of stuff really, but there's a part of me. I was in the HVAC business from 1990 until '07 full time, and we actually still own a service business that kind of supports the real estate business, right? So we're kind of all around it. But one of the things I started doing was consulting with other companies on how to create quality of service, right? Well, part of that would be looking at this is getting to their house, right? So if a company is going to expand, because you can't stay the same, the whole idea people have staying the same is almost insane, right? Because
Mhm.
as everything else goes up, you're either growing or you're dying, right? One of the two. So in the case that we always talk about, have that next vehicle ready for that next employer, that growth. Well, in your case, you have to have I mean, you come even before me there. You're like, look, you need to go ahead and get that order in for that next vehicle so
Yeah,
you can have it before you're ready for that next employee. So
definitely.
companies are really having to starting to look. What would you say an e-transit right now? If someone wanted, and I don't even know the designations, the numbers. What is a 250 transit?
I believe
What's
that's
your
going to be
weight
on
on that?
a 350 chassis because the weight of the battery packs. So an E250 and an E350 are the same size dimensionally,
Mhm.
but the 350 has the built-up suspension on it. So yeah, I
Got it.
believe the E-Transits are on it, are basically considered an E350.
Now, what if someone wants gas though?
Uh, you're we don't we're out. We're completely out. I mean, we have a couple of used ones,
Okay,
but the ordering and then the ordering basically the order. There's a window where you can order. Ford will release this window, and a lot of times those windows have been closing shortly. So if you see the Maverick had just opened up on the 15th, and it closed. It closed in probably about 8 or 9 days.
now why
So,
did it close so soon?
so what we're hearing is that once again they underestimated the number of orders they were going to get. Um, I was like, again, you underestimated again. I mean, to what I've seen is the most popular vehicles right now that are being asked for that customers want to come in, they want to see, they want to drive, they want to buy it off the lot, or the Bronco and the Maverick. Um, I'd also say like a Super Duty also, but I mean those are almost non-existent right now. I mean they come in and they're gone.
Yeah.
Usually it's orders, and every now and then we get someone backs out of the order and they're gone in a day or two.
Yeah,
But yeah,
so if a company right now is saying, "Look, we're going to expand. We're thinking we're bringing on a new team or a new employee, a new service technician in 6 months," is there a way that they can order, say, an E250 or a Transit 250 gas? Can it be ordered in the next 30 days, and will they get it in the next 6 months?
it's possible.
Okay,
Right now, what we're seeing on the commercial side is that it's almost like Ford's picking and choosing what they're building. So we can have Super Duties that were ordered 8 months ago. We can have F-150s that come in that were just ordered like 5 months ago. It's kind of weird. We actually have no control over what gets built and what doesn't. So it's sometimes it's a guessing game.
I got you. So Bronco. Now, we talk Broncos here, right? Most of the Extreme Bronco would be in the name of the live stream. So, do you commercial sales, but do you ever deal with, say, some of your commercial sales client that want to order a new Bronco or a
Yeah,
used
yeah.
Bronco?
I've taken some orders for some Mavericks on the retail side and Broncos on the retail side.
Okay.
I can sell retail.
Got it.
And I do have a couple. I just had one. A buddy of mine has a Bronco order, and it got pushed from 21 to 22. And guess what? Got pushed from 22 to 23. Amazing.
Did it really? Wow.
And I feel really bad. Luckily, the color that he had is the color. I'm sorry, I hope you guys can't hear this, but one of my dogs is drinking water on the other side of the door, and I'm like,
I can't hear a thing. But listen, we have a puppy here, so don't be surprised if you hear some yelping in the back. So
awesome.
it's pet friendly. It's a pet friendly live stream. How's that?
Yeah, that's awesome. That's good. Yeah, the Broncos, and it's what's funny is lately I've seen a few of the Bronco orders. People back out. I don't know if it's whether they found something else or went ahead and bought a Jeep, or just sometimes people order stuff and they can't get qualified for it. But I've seen some, and that's how I got my that's how I got my third Bronco, the one we just bought. Someone backed out of it, and I just jumped on it really quick. The next day I put a deposit down on it, and I told the managers, hey, I want this one. So it happened, and it was amazing. But I've seen some, and like I said, they're on the lot a day, maybe 2 days, and they're gone.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was trying to figure out a way to say gone in 60, but they're less than 60 days, right? So I can't even do a play on that, like gone in 6 more. Because actually I have a Ford Authority article that I'm going to pull up here in just a second for everyone watching right now, where we're talking about the turn rates on the Bronco. But now think about it. What if 2 years ago, you went out of your comfort zone slightly and you ordered a loaded Badlands, or maybe you did a Wild Track? And maybe for you, comfortably, doesn't matter what you could qualify for or not, but comfortably you were, let's say you needed to be in the 40s, but you know what? You splurged and you made it. You build a Bronco that's going to cost you MSRP. If you deal with a quality dealer that's going to sell it for that, you're dealing with 55,000 MSRP, right? So you're okay. It's a once in a lifetime vehicle. Let's do it. Not once in a lifetime vehicle, but it's for the first time in your lifetime. It's this cool vehicle, right?
Yes.
But what's happened in 2 years is interest rates have gone incredibly. Historically, they're not that high, but from what we're used to in the recent history, last 2 years, they are high.
Yeah.
So does that throw someone out? And is that why you're seeing some people back out? Maybe because now suddenly they don't qualify for the vehicle they ordered.
I believe so.
Yeah.
The last, I bought several vehicles in the past year. It's amazing. We bought the Maverick came in, and I'm still heartbroken that I had to trade the Maverick in, but I made a business decision and I kind of lost on it. So I bought an Audi A6, and I was going to drive it for a little bit, and I was, curious with that German engineering. So it was a really nice car, 2018, got it for a good price, and was going to drive it for a couple of months and sell it. And we were talking about the book value.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Book value dropped the month that I had it. The book value dropped, and I lost about $5,000 on that deal. And so had to make up for that. I had to trade the Maverick in also, and it was heartbreaking, but it's a great truck. But things happen, you live and you learn. And,
well, you can also order another one, right? You can do things. Yeah. You can say, hey, I want to do another one. Let me ask you this: current events today. I did say you were in the green room, so to speak. You were not part of the live, but I did say that my heart goes out to the folks that are down in Punta Gorda, Cape Coral, southwestern part of Florida. And also there's going to be that destruction across the state to Orlando. Orlando is going to be more of a flooding event than a wind event, but still wind involved. And my heart goes out to them, right? But here, let's, having everyone happy and healthy and everything is number one to me. Sure. I woke up today and subconsciously I put on one of my extreme makeover build shirts because, when the crap hits the fan and people are hurting, that's sort of like the extreme makeover logo shines in the clouds versus the Batman thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like,
Yeah.
dang, I wish I could get the crew back together and let's go help someone, right? But I mean, there's going to be a tremendous amount of destruction there. But here's my thing: how do you think the used car market is going to be now? Right, we have low inventory on the new market. We've seen some softening in the slightly used, right? The 1 to 2 year vehicles, the used vehicles, 1 to 2 years. You had people that wanted to buy a new vehicle, but they couldn't get one because of inventory. So they bought that 1 to 2 year used vehicle. All
Yes.
right. As inventories have gone up, that market has softened. But this 12,000, what they call and I hate it way they say it, but the sub 12,000 market is very hot right now because there's a lot of people in that price range. What do you think is going to happen with thousands of vehicles being now need to be replaced? What's going to happen with the car market?
Uh, so they're saying it's slowing down. I'm not really seeing it. Now there are customers that when they get to the used lot, whether they like the vehicle, whether they like the price or not, um, they want to know what the sticker price was on that vehicle, and I'm like, you don't want to know what the sticker price on that was, because right now the market's high on used vehicles. You can walk on a lot and you have 8 or 9 F-150s to look at, or 6 or 7 expeditions to look at, but you go to the used lot and we have 12 F-150s and 10 expeditions, or 15 it's a larger, you have a bigger choice of what you have to use lot. So some people come in, they see what they like, they want to go used, they find something, they buy it. Some people come in, they find something they like, but the next thing you know, they're, how much is it over sticker? And we're like, oh, here it is.
What
Here we go.
But what do you think about I mean, and I'm just throwing this out there because I watch a lot of other channels, and one of the things that we're starting to take our channel. We've always had fun with it, but now we want to start diving deeper and helping people solve problems. And part of the
Yeah.
problem is used vehicles, right? I
Yeah.
mean, Driven Wild Outdoors, it's like fun stuff and car reviews, but what about a little bit of the stuff that pains us buying a new vehicle? So if
So,
inventories are low and the used market is starting to soften in one sector, because if
yeah.
you read an article and says, well, used cars are starting to depreciate, equivalent to softening, that's another way of saying it. And I'm getting ready to get Gavin in on this conversation here. Sorry, Des.
You're-
Yeah. Yeah, because you have to go soon. We're going to get you in here. But if you talk about the market softening or depreciation happening, that's not widespread in used market, right? That's only segments. And it's probably not Bronco at all or
not
Maverick.
say
I mean,
Bronco Maverick,
look, I don't care if you like Ford or you don't like Ford. I don't care what your thing is about Ford. I'm a Ford fan. Everyone knows that. I'm not going to hide behind it. I really do like Ford Motor Company. My thing is, they're just rolling the hits out.
Yeah.
Like I was joking after the Bronco and then the Maverick, and now we know the new Ranger's coming out. I'm like, all right, what's next? And then the Super Duty, and it's going to be the strongest ever,
Yeah.
right? The diesel is going to have the high horsepower, high torque, or
Both.
high output.
Yeah.
Like, what next? I mean, and so what's happening though in that used market? Totally switching gears here. I'm not being sort of shiny squirrel, but this is relevant what we're talking about: used cars and used Broncos. A few years ago, I bought a boat. I bought a Parker. Now, every boat I've ever had, I've lost money on. Right? It's the deal. Bet on another thousands. The acronym for boat. The happiest day of a boater's life is the day they bought it and the day they sold it. It's equal.
Yeah.
But I bought a Parker, which was a nice boat. I did some improvements to it, and I sold it and actually made money on it. Made a lot of money on it. One of the biggest factors was, I don't remember the name of the hurricane, but a hurricane tore up the Keys really bad a few years ago. Marco Island up sort of skirted the west coast of Florida, and then I think ended up, I don't know, maybe Louisiana or something. But there was a lot of boats taken out of the market. And this is pre-chaos, right? When people are still building stuff. So my thing is that if you take thousands of boats out in their total, thousands of cars and SUVs and trucks out of the market, and work trucks included, what does that do for the used car market? And what does that do? I mean, how many Broncos are going to be lost? And there again, I'm not being insensitive. Loss of life is the number one thing on all of our mind. But this is a show about vehicles, so we're talking about that. What do you think that's going to do to, the used car market? And then we'll move on to more Bronco stuff.
It may just, it may just reverse that effect that the, used car market is softening because, once things start going to normal and people having to get back to their livelihoods, you got to have a vehicle. That's a good question. And actually that's something that I hadn't thought about yet,
Well, I always look at, like, when something happens in the world, just the way my brain works is I'm like, how does this affect us? So we have interest in Florida, right?
Uh-huh.
So like in the real estate business, how does this affect us? How does this affect us? And so how can we help? How can we contribute? Because the biggest thing about me is gratitude and contribution. Like, the more gratitude I have, I'm happy. See, when people around me succeed, and if I'm having a crappy month, I'm like, all right, I'm happy for them, but it inspires me to do better. But when someone's having, like right now, there's a house that's losing a roof somewhere in Florida.
Yes.
I genuinely, my heart hurts for those people. The reason why I volunteered to work with Extreme Makeover Home Edition is because I generally care about people. And I care about, the crap that goes on every single day. And then your roof blows off, right? So I look at this stuff here in
Anna, and we got a pretty bad one a little over a year ago. So yeah, Florida, I totally get it.
Yeah.
Our prayers go out.
Definitely. But getting back to the vehicle thing, so, there's going to be some Broncos that you're going to see it on Broncos 6G. You're going to see it on other forums where someone's Bronco got flooded.
Unfortunately.
Roofs coming off houses, losing your Bronco is one thing. As long as everyone in your family's safe, the Bronco can be replaced. But, we're watching this stream I'm not going to say it now because everybody will switch over, but at the end of our stream, I'm going to give you the name of a stream that you ought to go watch. And it is straight up first class coverage. Great. And it's a YouTuber, and it's better than network, because I don't watch the news. So anyway, but look, let's get back into the Bronco thing. So we're looking at a couple different things. There's an article here. Do you mind if I pull this up while we're talking?
Go ahead.
All right. I want to see what you think about this. Was on the Ford Authority, and it's basically something quite well, is the turn rate. Right. So how long does a vehicle sit at a lot? And let's see if we can figure out which one this is. Let's add this to the stream, Des. I'll see if I can do it with you here. There we go. Okay. The gang's all here. What do you think about this? So the turn rate on the Ford Bronco, so there's a couple different articles. One is the Bronco is one of the most marked up vehicles over MSRP. And we know why that is. It's a desirable vehicle that is obviously had building issues, right? Getting them built to the clients. But also the turn rate. When a Bronco does end up on a dealership lot, I've always thought this was humorous. If you've ordered it and it shows up on the lot, it's turned pretty quickly, right?
Yeah.
I mean, our dealer, they get them in, they run them through inspections, they get them detailed, and they're gone that day. Like I'm gone in 60 would be like I'm gone in 6 hours.
I'm gone in 60 seconds.
I'm gone in 60 seconds or whatever. Yeah, like literally our Bronco would have been taken home a day early, which we just took delivery. We just had our 1 year anniversary on my 21. But the turn rate on those are pretty quick. But what if the deal falls through and it sits on the lot and it's open for sale? Even with MSRPs over, they're going in less than 10 days.
Yeah, they are.
What are you seeing with that on your deal?
I'm seeing any Broncos, any Mavericks that, or someone backs out of it. Yeah, a day or two, they're gone. Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's a hot deal. And so we need vehicles, right? But wouldn't it be cool, Gavin, if you were buying a vehicle today, sorry, and I've not been ignoring you. I've been trying to get into this conversation a little bit. But if you were buying a vehicle today, fast forward 6 years, right? What would you buy, and or would you pay more than what Ford says it's worth?
GT.
GT what?
Like normal Ford GT.
A Ford GT?
Mm-hmm.
You see, like he's swinging for the fence, like at 16 years old.
Gavin. I said, I like the way you think.
Yeah, no, you need to start doing some more YouTubing or something. You need to be like, one of those famous TikTokers or something like that, right?
No, not TikTok.
No, but
Maybe
seriously.
YouTube shorter, but not.
So technically, Gavin does have his first vehicle. You want to tell everyone what that is?
Yeah, my dad already signed a deal where the blue Bronco is mine when I'm 16.
Sign the deal. Did you hear that? Sign the deal. Like we put everything in writing.
Totally.
So Gavin will get the 21 Bronco
because that's what happened.
Yeah, so I can't sell it.
I mean the part where he's giving it to me when I turn 16 is right. It's just the paperwork is not.
Okay. But anyway, so if you were buying a vehicle today, what would you buy?
Mm-hmm.
What would seriously? No, forget the Ford GT. We always want a Ford GT, but what would you buy?
What I want.
But more practical, what would you buy? A Bronco, Maverick, F-250, or would you buy a Charger?
Definitely not a Charger.
What about that new Mustang that's coming out, Gavin?
What about the new Mustang?
Yeah, that or the new F-250, or the Bronco Raptor. No, the F-150 Raptor R.
F-150 Raptor
R.
Okay. So the Predator engine in that, by the way, which Des, I want to talk to you about that. I don't know, you're a Mustang. Well, I don't want to classify you as that, but you like Mustangs, right? You're a Mustang guy.
Yeah, Mustang fanatic, I guess you can say.
Yeah. So we'll talk a little bit about the Predator and what I think's happening with that. Gavin's getting ready to split. Is there anything you would like to tell everyone before you have to go? Say goodnight.
Good night. After this stream is over, definitely go check out the stream that he's going to tell you about, and definitely check out I'm Gone 60s channel, and yeah. So
and we're going to announce that.
Good night, everybody.
Thanks for the shout out, Gavin. Good night.
Hey, do me a favor.
Yeah.
Go get one of my books and bring it back. Thank you, sir. Anyway, I'm back. Gavin, this whole school thing, he's still getting his routine down, right? Soccer, homework, and a live stream on one night's a lot for a young man like this, who's actually has a birthday coming up this weekend.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, it is Friday. You want to say what you're doing? No, we'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that. But anyway, so what do you think? And we're going to pull you back into the live here, but what do you think about the turn rate, with Ford right now? 10 days on a lot or less. So that says one thing, the market's dry. You need vehicles. When a vehicle hits, if it's not being taken by whoever ordered it, if it was ordered, most of them are, it's going up for sale, and you have someone that, you put it on the internet and wherever else you advertise as a dealership, and they're going in just a few days. And that's because you have a desirable vehicle in a Bronco, a Maverick, or I guess anything else right now.
I'll tell you another thing, Dwayne, that's going on that a lot of people don't realize is people are buying these vehicles off the transit truck. So basically you can look at a website and it'll say if it's in stock or, if it's dealer ordered or if it's in transit. And a lot of times at our dealership, we'll take a deposit on it, and they can put a deposit if no one else has one on there, and it's on the truck on the way to the dealership, and someone has already put a deposit on it before it even gets here. So as soon as it hits the ground, they're notified and they can come in and pick it up. And to me, that's crazy. I mean, people are buying vehicles still on the train, on a transit truck, and that's right. The world we live in right now.
We're going to say hi to Iconic Bronco, who his comment, you see it right there on the screen, picked up my Bronco Raptor today.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. Drink to that one, right?
Congratulations.
Here, yeah, I can do that now. Gavin's gone. Now I drink. I'm a health nut anymore, so I'm always drinking cool stuff for me. But iconic Bronco, congratulations.
Wow.
I'm happy for you. Definitely connect with them on Instagram. Tell us what you like, what you don't like. I'd love to know. I have here in just a little bit, we're going to talk about my Bronco Raptor update. I was slightly crushed the other day, but I'm okay. All Train Nation joined us earlier. We've been chatting about stuff, and he says hi, D. And I
Hey,
guess
Dave.
he might be talking. Are you Dave? The question is it D as in Dwayne or D as in Des? That's the question, Dave. So why don't you go ahead and clear it up? Hello, Dr. Detroit. What is going on? Thanks for joining us tonight. And let's see, what do we have going on? Let's see. I think Bronco 78. The funny thing about live streams is when you're looking at comments, you've got to watch because there's sort of a separate comment section going on, which is cool. I like it. But you don't want to do that. Let's see. Somebody's talking about Hurricane Katrina. Oh, that was a bad deal.
That was a bad one.
Yeah, that was a bad deal. And the whole west coast of, Marco Island, Punta Gorda, Cape Coral, that whole area of Florida, man, that's a beautiful country down there. On a lighter note, Jonathan, what's going on? Hello to you as well. Bronco 78. Let's see. Bronco 78 said, and I don't know what this is in the question. He said they are sitting for longer periods of time on lots, extremely overpriced. So I don't know if that's in relation to what we were talking about or an earlier comment that someone's having, but think about that comment, by the way. If a dealer you said buying off the transit truck. Have you ever watched the YAA YouTube channel? Okay.
No.
They're pretty cool guys on there, right? They're in sort of the business side of the automotive industry. And I was watching a video one day, and I don't want to quote them because it may have been someone else, but I watched them quite a bit. If you've never checked out YAA, highly recommend them. Great channel. But I was looking at some comments that were being made where they said, a dealer might advertise the vehicles on the way that's sold. And then when you get there, oh, we just sold it. And then they want to sell you another one. Well, obviously not all dealers do that, right? Because you work for a great organization. I do know that. I know my local dealer where I work, like not even in their vocabulary would they ever do anything like that. Yeah. But if it's on the truck, it's on the train, it's en route, maybe it's been, are those stock units or are they ordered units that someone has already backed out of? Mentioned earlier.
They'll be dealer ordered units.
So dealers are still getting ordered units on, but just not Bronco, right? They're getting it on other things.
Yeah.
F-150.
Something like a Bronco or a Maverick, you won't know until it actually hits the ground because the customer's notified, and then they decide on if they're going to back out or if they're going to come in and get it.
Okay.
But yeah, usually it's dealer ordered. But still they're F-150s. It's amazing. They're being bought off the transit truck. Now, there's another thing I wanted to hit on too. I have really strong feelings about this. When you have a vehicle that you ordered, whether it's a Bronco or a Maverick or whatever, even if it's, a hot vehicle like that. And some of these dealerships, when it hits the ground and they tell you it comes in, and then they're going to tell you it's another 5,000 or another 10,000 or another 2,000, that's ridiculous. And they should not be your dealership. You should be price protected. And, if you have the order, you've stayed with it. You know what I mean? It shows loyalty also. The dealership I work at, I've bought no less than 7 vehicles probably in the last 10 years. My old dealership, I've probably bought about 5 vehicles from them. So, it helps being loyal with the dealership and not skipping and hopping, but at the same time, they should be loyal to you. So, here's the twist to that. So my first Bronco that I got in, probably 5 or 6 months I was waiting. The original Bronco, which was the second one, the one that came in last, I had that on order for a year and 11 months. Okay. So the people that have been waiting a long time, I feel you. I understand what you're going through. But if you want to walk into a dealership and you just want to buy a Maverick off the showroom floor, or a Bronco off the showroom floor, or a Raptor off the showroom floor, I don't see nothing wrong with you paying the no waiting tax, because that's what it is. I mean, everyone else, we waited our time, we ordered it, and we're waiting. And someone just thinks that they can come in when there's a line of people who haven't gotten their vehicles. That's how I look at it. It's a no waiting tax.
No waiting tax. I hear you. And I mean, there is something to that.
Yeah. I feel everyone's pain who's still waiting, who had, went from a 21 to a 22, or a 22 to a 23 model, it gets bumped and stuff. But at the same time, there's some people, if they're going to pay 10, 15 over, they're going to pay 10, 15 over. If no one paid 10 or 15 over, there wouldn't be, this market, what they're calling market value.
So TJ Miller said, my dealer has a white 2-door Wild Track. If anyone is interested, person backed out. They have it at 5,000 over, but I think they would budge a little. So Wild Track sitting on the dealer lot available for 5,000 over is considered a deal nowadays, right?
Yeah, it is. It actually is.
And if it had the 3.0 suspension, it would be considered like a 2 thumbs up, right?
There you go. Yeah, that's amazing. I think that the 23 is going to be standard now. I think that's pretty cool on the Wild Track.
Let's see. Mike Max said, I knew it got there before my dealership knew it came. Yeah. The thing is, and we did the whole video where we tracked our first Bronco coming in. Our second one, I actually passed driving down the road.
Yeah.
I think I've said that like 1,000 times, no less, right? I'm like, well, there's only one dealership down this road. It's mine. There's an eruption green Badlands on the trailer. How about I hop across the median, do a U-turn, and head back and follow it? And the truck driver's probably like, oh, man, I'm getting ready to get jacked here. Somebody's chasing me. It's like, no, I just wanted to make sure. And sure enough, pointing to my dealership, and there it was. And that's why the video I have of it coming off the truck was possible. Not that anyone called to say, hey, it's on the way, but because it just showed up and I happened to pass it. But let's see. Overlanding for fun. At Driven Wild Outdoors, do you think I would get more views on my videos if I use thumbnails with me in short shorts and cowboy boots? Boy, that's out. Let's just go ahead and pop that up. Oh, no, wait a minute. No, that's wrong one. Wrong one. Here we go. You know what's funny? It won't let me add it. There it is. I was going to say it's kind of, Tim, it's kind of editing it out. I'm trying to have a great conversation with my buddy Des here, and then you have to throw this in there.
Try it, Tim. Try it.
Okay. The only thing I could say do is break the internet. Okay. See if you can literally break the internet. Now, I've been known to have horrific shorts. Now, I don't know if that's mean the ones I wear or the ones I film, but that's fine. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So I would try it, and the internet might just melt, but you know what? Do it. Like, seriously, we could talk offline. I could give you some ideas. You need to do this. And it needs to be communication related, because there's no one better online than you about communication. Which, by the way, Tim, stay till the end of the video. When I mention who you should go check out on the live stream, I want to get your opinion on their communication skills. They're communicating with people out in the field, and I want to know how they're doing it. All right, let's see here, Des. BJ Marford in Boswell, Pennsylvania is where the 2-door Wild Track is. Came in right before mine did. Okay, so there you go. I mean, if you're interested in a Wild Track, you want a Bronco right now, and it's not insanely marked up, that would be considered a deal. Go check them out, see if they still have it, see if it's available. Pez had said, here you go, laugh out loud, Bronco Santa. Could you imagine seeing Bronco Santa some short shorts on the internet? That would be like right on time. Bronco 78 said, "Oh Lord." Bronco 78, I second that. No hard feelings, Tim. We love you, brother. But Steve P said, "My brain is melting with
Melting.
I love it. But let me get back to your Broncos situation, right? So can you bring us up to speed? You had two Broncos and then you had one and now you have two again.
Yeah.
Start from the beginning again, because I think we hinted on that a little bit, but I think
Yeah.
I
And it was
talked
almost
over
like
you a
your
little bit.
situation. It was almost like your situation where I had two orders. So the original order I had at the dealership I used to work with, for it, I kept it as a hardtop, so it got pushed from the 21 to a 22. And when I got to my new dealership, I was trying to move it, and the GM just said, "Hey, just rebuild it. Just rebuild one, but make it a soft top." And much to my wife's dismay, I rebuilt the order exactly like it was, but changed it to a soft top. It was a cactus gray 2.7 Outer Banks with leather and high package.
Mm-hmm.
And that thing came in, I mean, fairly quick. I mean, I don't even think it was 6 months. And so we got it last December, right before Christmas. I believe it was December, I think the 21st or something like that. It came in. And of course, you know, we fell in love with it. We went to the Bronco off rodeo, and I mean, that was a game changer. And fast forward a year and 11 months later, and I'm getting emails that my original Bronco, the hardtop, is coming in. I'm like, well, great. You know, of course, all this time we had the Bronco, Dwayne, I was trying to do the his and hers, you know, deal. And of course it had a wrench thrown in that. So, I was keeping the first Bronco quiet, and it was killing me, because I was, you know, I'm watching your show and everyone's got their Broncos coming in, and I'm still trying to keep it secret, you know, and I'm watching Dave's show and everybody's got their Broncos coming in.
Yeah.
And I was holding on to it. But when the second one came in, I was like, okay, cat out of the bag, let's go. And that one's not with us anymore. I just got an offer that I couldn't refuse on it. And so that one left shortly after we received it. I did take the hardtop off and put it on mine. So I switched tops, and there's not a video on how to switch tops. And it took me and a buddy of mine about 2 hours. So there's videos all over the place on how to fully remove the hardtop or fully remove the soft top. But when you switch them, there's brackets that the hardtop uses that the soft top doesn't. And I remember we put the soft top on, and the back wouldn't latch. You know how you can lift the back end of the soft top up to put the kickstand down to get groceries in.
Yeah.
Wouldn't latch. It wouldn't lock in. And, you know, I'm thinking, okay, what's going on? And went and looked at the other Bronco. And of course, there were some locks on each side, you know, that it latched onto. So we had to take those off, transfer. And I mean, this went back and forth. It took us about 2 hours. I think we were done around midnight. And
because you sort of had to figure it out as you went, right? I mean,
yeah, pretty much. It was a learning experience, and I don't want to do it again, but
yeah.
But yeah.
So you have the brackets on the side too, where the side windows clip into. Those have to be added.
Yeah, there's and the funny thing is, we took the whole thing off, and actually it's just a little piece that kind of slides in.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you're talking about? Like
so if your side windows of a soft top where they click into right behind if you have a 4-door, right behind the back doors.
Yeah.
You have that sort of that bracket with some lines in it. You have that bracket that has to be added, right?
Yeah, you have to, and basically it was a learn as you go type of deal.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and so then after that, I had the hardtop painted gloss black. I'm still loving that. Now the new, I haven't put it out there yet, but the 2-door hardtop I had, it's painted in a like a dark metallic gray. And I believe it's a Lexus color. but it looks really good. So
Mhm.
it's a fiber orange, and it's, the Mick is kind of like a dark gray,
Mhm.
but it's flat. Um, this one, I went ahead and had it painted on the two-door, and it came out really, really good. But I will tell you this, and anyone who's thinking about painting their hardtop, I'll give you something to think about. The tops are wavy. They're fiberglass. I'm not sure if they're fiberglass or like a composite type with fiberglass mixed into it, but they're very wavy. So when you add gloss to it, you can see every wave, every ripple. So there's a kind of a caveat to it looking well. So I will say on the two-door, there's on the top rear of the camper part, there's looks like it has hail damage. I mean, it's pretty bad. Now you can't see it because it's on the very top. But I imagine once I saw that, I imagined, well, this is why Ford pushed, the black and the body matched hardtops back, because they said they're not doing it in 23 now. The only ones that are getting painted hardtops are going to be the Heritage editions.
Right.
So I imagine the Heritage editions are going to be built with a whole lot of quality control, because as soon as it's shiny, you can see every wave, you can see every divot, and it's amazing what you can't see just in the Mick top and what you can see once it's painted. So
Well, I can tell you, seeing the Heritage. So I drove by the Heritage Limited, but I actually did a video next to the Heritage with the white top. And I've got to tell you, of course, that vehicle was pre-production, and so there's some differences there. But that top was smooth; it looked good. Now, what does mass production look like? I don't know. I thought that the painted tops were being done by someone else, but maybe I'm wrong on that. I think, Tim with Overland for Fun said that the texture of the Heritage top is smooth. So yeah, it was like painted and smooth and looked great. It looked like looked like metal, really, from a distance. And I did look for imperfections. And at least on the one that was on Woodward Avenue up at the Bronco Nation corrals there, looked flawless. So
I wonder if that, they just slowed the process down to get everything straight, or like you said, or if it did go to another manufacturer, because I'm pretty sure that's why, one of the reasons why they probably said no for 23. No, we're not going to do the gloss black or the body match. It's something to think about, though.
Well, the last thing they need is another QC thing happening, right? With the top. By the way, have you had any clicking noise in the roof panels?
I have not, and I meant to do the adjustment that you did on the video, and just haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
But I don't have any clicking noise, but I think I'm still going to do the little adjustment, ahead of time, just in case it happens.
Yeah, well, and there again, if it's not making noise, don't mess with it, right? Because I will tell you that the heat shrink tubing, the little sleeves, it's the more you remove the top and put it back, it does kind of rake it off a little bit. So it's a reuse. You have to keep doing it. Not every time you take the top on and off, but maybe Becky says like every 3 or 4 times I need to do it.
Okay.
And that's because when you take the top off, if you're not careful, you lift it up and the pin drags against the bracket and it wants to pull off that little sleeve you put on there. Okay, no big deal. But if they would change that pin in the top to a rigid rubber, it would solve the problem completely. Like that's the only solution that's needed. You don't have to rethink the wheel. That's it. That's all. And it's not one of those things I want to get into, trying to fabricate and sell people and then get everyone mad at me because I'm trying to redo their product. I'm just saying, if that's all they did, they would solve their problem.
Yeah. Okay.
But the heat shrink tubing is an immediate fix to a noise that will drive you nuts. driving down the road.
I've heard it. I heard it on your video. I've heard it on a couple of videos also.
Like it has to be the frequency that just wants to drive you insane. And so I had to do something about it. But anyway, moving on. So someone did mention here, let's hit back to the comments here.
Hey, I like Bronco 78's idea, Dwayne.
The one I highlighted there?
Yeah.
No, I was thinking there's a video for you. By the way, if you haven't, after our stream, go check out and go watch the videos on I'm Gone in 60 on YouTube. You can also check out Dev's on Instagram. I'm Gone in 60. Same thing. You're like me. You make it hard to find you because it's the same name everywhere. But you have some really good videos, and I know you like doing a lot with a drone. It looks like.
Actually,
is that your drone or someone else's?
Actually, I paid a guy. I paid a guy, a local guy here, and he actually hand builds his drones. So this is like a racing drone. You know, one doesn't go like 80 miles an hour. And he built it himself, and he had the goggles. So we went out to a location, and I had to stand with him to make sure that if a car came, he didn't get run over because he's looking at it through these goggles. And I was just like, wow. So yeah, every now and then when I make a new intro, I'll kind of use some of that because it was just such awesome footage. But I really need to get with him again and get some new videos going. But
hey, my buddy Tim, sorry to cut you off, Des. My buddy Tim said the texture of the Heritage top is smooth. And Tim, you're exactly right. You were up there with us in Michigan. And yes, that top was like straight up looked quality good. Go ahead, Des. I'm sorry.
Well, I was gonna say I was gonna say something kind of funny. So I'm trying to grow my channel, and my friends are always telling me, hey, you're too serious, you're loosen up. And I'm like, you know what? I just want to be taken seriously, about some of the things that we talk about. But it's funny how some of my, my viewers, how they are, because sometimes I have to interpret things. And so just to give you an example, I have a video. We have a speed event out here that's called Shift Sector. And it's a half-mile speed event. And basically, you're just trying to hit top speed at the end of that half mile, and then you have time to slow down. It comes once a year. And I have a video that, I was there covering everything. And I have there was a GTR, a Nissan GTR that did 206 miles an hour and flipped. It lost a tire and flipped and caught fire. And the guy escaped without a scratch. I think he was a little banged up, but he walked away from it. No concussions. I think I put it on Instagram, and the guy's son actually messaged me and said, hey man, we don't have any video of this. This is the first time I've seen it, but thanks. And I asked, well, man, was your dad okay? And he says, yeah, he's fine. But that video, and here's the funny thing, that video probably got 100 views. I've done now what really took off was like Maverick content. So I can do I had a video where I did the tailgate lettering install on the Maverick. Mm-hmm. That thing probably got 7,500 views. I got a one where I did the actual graphic on the hood installation. That one probably got 7,000 or 8,000 views, and I'm just like, wow. I have a
I'm telling you right now, Ford is, and I don't care what you really think about them personally. I happen to be a fan, but whatever. We all like different brands. Ford is really like they're launching the deals. And don't worry about the dogs in the back. I have one. I get it, man. Every week, don't worry. It's cool. But if Ford is launching these things like you wouldn't believe. The Maverick has been one of the biggest deals out there. The 3D printing of some of the accessories is insane by itself. But it's truly the vehicle that takes the car person and makes them into a light truck user, right? You don't need it to haul gravel or mulch or whatever. I mean, you could haul mulch with it, but you just need that little bit of room and you want to take it. So anyway, no big deal. Let's see. Mike Mack said, pull this up here. We're big Ford guys, trucks, Mustangs. I'm a Ford guy. Yeah. And Mike, so am I.
Yeah.
That's it. Van City Adventure. Hello all. Hey, welcome to the live stream. Thanks for joining us tonight, by the way, on this busy night in America. You know, Des, you and I started off the night talking about the folks down in Florida. You know, if you're in Florida, you're probably not watching this stream, but your family down there or whatever. I don't know if you heard my dog in the background. Those are joins. But our hearts are with them, and definitely make sure everybody's okay. But tonight is kind of a busy night. I mean, there's a lot going on, but if you want to get your mind off of the weather, well, right here is the spot. Let's see. Van City, he says, I'll leave. I'm a Dodge guy. Oh, you don't have to go anywhere. We're all friends here, man. You know, here's the funny thing. If we all like the same brand, it wouldn't be any fun, right? I mean, do you agree with that?
Yeah, here's a funny thing. I'll let him know also is that, you know, the Dodge brothers, they used to work at Ford, right? They used to work at Ford plant. So
yeah, they did. Yeah, everyone started at Ford, right?
Yeah, right.
Didn't Henry Ford own Chevrolet before, or GM or something like, or Cadillac? I think if you go back and look, I think Henry Ford had something to do with Cadillac before. Yeah. Anyway, Tim said something here. The bed of the Maverick is too big for me. I'm out. I don't know what is up with that, Tim? I mean, come on, Tim. Don't be hating on my Maverick now. I don't even own one. I haven't even done videos on one.
I'll tell you this. It's a great vehicle. It's a great daily driver. It checks all the boxes. You know, it gets good gas mileage. The 2-liter has plenty of power. There's a hybrid option for it. You can get it all-wheel drive. Basically, customers that come look for it, I tell them, hey, it's a Honda Accord with a pickup bed. You know, it's a really good vehicle, and there's a reason why the demand is so high for it right now. Besides the price, you know?
Well, I mean, the price point's there. And of course, when you get in there and start ordering it and you start adding your little trinkets here and there, next thing you know, you're over 30 grand with it. Right. But have you ever watched Rady's rides?
Yeah. I'm familiar with
so he's cool. So his gauge to measure anything is Twinkie. So Twinkie storage, right? I love it, man. It's classic. The Raptor or the Raptor. I'm getting ready to spill the beans about my bad news, but the Maverick has a lot of, as Radies would say it, I'm not stepping on his deal here. This is his deal, but it has a lot of storage for, I guess, Twinkies or moon pies or whatever else you got.
Yeah.
So you know, the bed, the storage, the lightweight, the car aspect of it all is really cool. The idea that it's a car with with a pickup bed, it's not a new idea, right? That was what the Ranchero was.
El Camino, all that.
El Camino, yeah, right. But in modern day life that we know, it is the equivalent to that, but it's new to the market, or newer. I mean, you have the Ridgeline, you have other different things like that. But anyway, so let me ask you a question. How did you lose? So you went from owning 2 Broncos to 1 Bronco and a Maverick, and then an Audi. Then the Audi and the Maverick goes, and then you get a 2-door Cyber Orange Bronco.
Right.
And then you lost the Bronco somehow internally. How'd that happen?
So we had the 2 Cactus Gray, you know, so the clones of each other. One was a hard top, one was a soft top. After I switched the tops, we got rid of the soft top.
Right.
So yeah. So like I said, I just got a really, really good offer on it, and at that time I was like, yeah, okay, why not? You know, I wasn't trying to be greedy. Right. You know, not trying to make $15,000 off the deal, but I got a pretty good offer that he made me an offer I couldn't refuse, and it was a friend of a friend, so went ahead and got rid of it. Wasn't looking for another Bronco. So at that time, once we got rid of it, we had the Maverick, we had the Bronco. I still have the Bullet. And the Audi was a really nice car. It was an A6 all-wheel drive, 3-liter supercharged. I was just curious, that German engineering they're always talking about. And so I bought it, and just like I said, I planned to have it about 2 months and get rid of it. But the month that I had it, we decided we were going to get rid of it. We want to look at some other ventures, and I just didn't want that on my on my credit report. So When I went to get rid of it, lost in the deal. The book value dropped, and that month I had it. I mean, I didn't even
Oh,
put $500. I'm sorry, 500 miles on it, and I was just like, oh great, I can't go upside down on this. So I was way up on the Maverick actually, and so unfortunately I had to get rid of it, and so I actually traded both of those in on the Bronco. The
right.
Bronco, I wasn't even looking for it. I saw it. I saw that it was still there the next day, and I figured the deal fell through. And talked to one of the managers. Said, "Hey, is that one available?" And he said, "Yeah." And I think the thing stickered at like 47. And it's a 2.3 liter. It was a 2-door, and but it's a Lux package. And I started looking at it, and I was like, I started liking it, and decided to, go ahead and pull the trigger on that one. So we're
Now,
back.
what trim is it?
It's an Outer Banks.
Perfect.
It's an Outer Banks.
So that's plush. I mean, that's nice.
Yeah, for sure. Now I will say this, and maybe someone in the audience can highlight this. It threw me for a loop. 2.3 liter 2-door. Lux package, does not have a rear locker, and it just threw me for a loop.
Huh.
Now, like I said, it was a special order, but I'm thinking, who would order it without a rear locker? The 4-door Outer Banks that I have has a rear locker. I don't remember checking the box for a rear locker. Maybe I did at that time, but I wanted to make sure it was a 2.7 liter. I wanted to make sure it had the 4 auto transmission. I wanted the 360-degree cameras and the 12-inch screen. So, I made that happen. And but I thought it just came with a rear locker.
That's interesting because I think there's so many, and I'm doing a build-in price on every single trim, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every single vehicle Ford offers, I'm going to do a build-in price on, but I'm starting with Bronco. And I can't wait to get into that. I mean, I hope the video is less than 2 hours long, but I can't wait to get into that. Do you think that, well, I'm not going to ask you that. My opinion is I think there's too many options available. First of all, we have 10 Broncos in 23 to pick from.
Right.
Now, whether you can get a Heritage Limited or a Bronco Raptor is kind of rare anyway, but theoretically, you have 10 different trims that you could get. So there's a lot to pick from. And then when you dive deep into each trim, you can modify this thing heavily. So I think some people can get confused, and maybe I don't know. I've never tried to build one on paper without a rear locker. So
Right.
maybe we'll try that in one of the new videos.
Yeah. So I didn't know if it was a 22 thing where there's maybe a constraint.
Yeah, maybe.
But here's the deal. What you were saying about the different trims and everything. So on a sales side, it's a good thing. On the manufacturing side, it's not a good thing. It's probably a nightmare. But on the sales side, what I tell people when they're, I'll be putting gas and they'll be nice Bronco, but they cost a lot, huh? And I tell them, well, they start at 31,000. There's a trim for every budget, and that's good. When you're selling them, someone comes up and be like, I can't afford $50,000 or $60,000, and be like, okay, well, what about 31,000 or 32,000? But I imagine, and here's something that Dwayne, I don't know if you knew or not. I built the Toyota Tundra here in San Antonio from 2005 to 2009. So I've actually built Toyota Tundra, so I'm familiar with the manufacturing process.
Oh wow, I did not know that.
Yeah. So that's and it was amazing. It was an amazing experience. But yeah, I can see on a manufacturing level that would really could really be a pain. Basically, and I worked in a body wheel department, and it was called deck, and that's what they call the bed of the truck. So we built the bed of the truck. But you had a 5.5, 6.5, and then I believe it was a 7-foot bed that we built on the same line. So the light would flash and tell you what size you're building, and you have to memorize. Okay, this one takes this, and this. Throw it in there. let the robots weld everything together. And when it's leaving our line, it's a full, it comes in parts, and when it's
How
leaving our
many
line,
goof ups?
well,
How many people got the wrong build though? I mean, did that ever happen?
it won't let you. So basically,
Fail safe. Got it.
yeah, you're putting parts into a jig, and you have a certain amount of time to do this, but you're putting parts into a jig, and when you're done, you step out, of this, there's a safety area, there's
Yeah.
lasers that they know if you're in and out, and you hit a button, and it takes a picture, it takes a photograph of what you just built. And the computer immediately, if there's something, even if you have a part that's like kind of laying kind of sideways, it sees a shadow, and it'll stop the line. It'll send an alarm and stop the line immediately if you misbuild something. But they are they are all about just in time. So right when you're about to run out of panels, that here comes the cart, and they have it down to a science.
Well, I hope I'm not speaking out of wherever, but I think Toyota invented the process of just in time.
Yeah, they're huge on that.
So
yeah,
that's sort of their deal. YouTube's Spotter's Guide said, "Love Raddy's rides." So we passed by each other at Detroit Auto Show.
Oh, really?
So I messaged him. I was like, dude, I was like, looking forward to meeting you. I think he's cool. I like his style. We all like our different people. Their style, how they review a vehicle. Doug DeMuro, and hope I'm saying his last name right, and Reddy's Rides, like those two people I'm in sync with. Anyway, but yeah, so hopefully, who knows? Maybe one day at one of these events we get to catch up and go from there. Hey, let's catch up on some of the comments here. Let's see. Let's pull this one up and see if it. I love the old Bronco. The new ones look pretty good. Almost good enough to switch me over, but not enough. Van City Adventure, what would be enough? I would love to know. Because they are cool, and I'll tell you, as owning two of them and soon to be three, which you want me to spill the bad news now and get everybody depressed, or you want me to wait till the end, Des? What would you do?
You have my curiosity on this one.
Yeah. Let's see. Overlane. Oh, wait a minute. Bronco 78 was commenting. So, by the way, Bronco 78, who I know his real name, I met him in Townsend, Tennessee. Super, super cool dude. There was this weird thing. Des, I don't know if you ever plan on going to Bronco Supercell East. You ever plan on making that trip?
It would have to be planned way in advance.
Okay, well, let me tell you this, and I can't speak for everyone in every situation or whatever, but we had the coolest time in the world. When you see comments from people and you talk to folks on the internet, and then you actually get to meet them in person, we had a great time. We met Tim in person for the first time. Dave and Kelly, that was the first time we'd met face to face. Bronco 78, Andrea, who you see the comments quite a bit on All Terrain Nation and over here. We even met a new guy. I think we call him Tim. If you're watching it, what was his name? Photobomb Steve. What's his name? No, check this out, Des. Everywhere you went and you took a picture, you didn't notice it until later. The dude was in the picture.
If this is the guy I'm thinking about, the guy's kind of famous. He's kind of YouTube / Instagram famous. If this is the same guy,
if he's famous, we don't know it. But
yeah,
our thing was we met it. We ate at some restaurant that I would someone else picked it, and I'm like, okay, I'm going, because I don't seem high maintenance, but anyway, I had the best trout I'd ever had in my life in this place. And I'm like, it was the craziest weekend. You met some of the best people in the world at Bronco Supercell East. You had, you solidified your opinion of some. You had some of the best food ever. You get to stay over in Pigeon Forge if you stayed over there, or you stayed in a cabin in town. It's just a cool experience. So I'm not advertising for them, even though I kind of am. if you get a chance to go to Supercell East, go. But we had a great time, and one of the things about the Bronco, it's brought a lot of us together. Right, you're talking about Bronco, you're talking about your order, build dates, chaos, screw ups, whatever, and then suddenly you go to these events and you meet people in person and realize that, man, we're like we have a lot in common. You know, that's kind of like the Mustang car club
Yep.
meets or car meets. When you go to a Mustang car, you find out you have a whole lot in common with people.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, what's your opinion on that?
I'll tell you this, the Bronco changed me. I mean, I've always been a Mustang guy. I've had 11 Mustangs, you know, better handling and more speed and I'm good. And, you know, I tell people who haven't been yet to the Bronco Off Rodeo, that's the most fun I've ever had, going between 4 and 8 miles an hour. And it totally changed me because I didn't know anything about off-roading. And just what I learned there, it changed me. The Bronco really changed me. Yeah, I you know, totally agree. It's a, you know, the people that you meet, you know, it's all different walks of life, and we all have this one thing in common, whether it's Mustangs or Broncos or, you know.
Well, and I think that's the thing with the Bronco. Someone I saw, her name is Allie. She made a post and she said something about the last 10 months she's found herself with the Bronco. You know, and I thought, what a profound statement that was. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, wow.
I know. I feel it. I mean, I'm just like, you know, my wife, you know, for a while there, she was like, "Hey, you're obsessed with this Bronco," and I'm like, "Is that a bad
it's
thing?"
not a bad thing.
So, you know, and so that's the funny thing. Here is this: the two-door that I bought last week was going to be mine. Okay, one of my dogs is trying to break into the door. Have a sliding.
Hey, what kind of dogs do you have?
Okay, so I'm a large dog fan.
Uh-huh.
So I have a 10-year-old Catahoula Bulldog. I have a 9-year-old Rottweiler. I have
Roddy, huh?
Yeah, I've been a Rottweiler fan for a while. I have a 4-year-old American Bulldog, and I have my newest dog. She's a puppy. She's 12 months old. She is a South African Boerboel, which is a South African Mastiff. She is 115 pounds. She's the biggest dog I have, and she's a puppy still.
Now that dog might knock the wall down behind you, by the way.
So the 4-year-old American Bulldog is her adopted mother.
Mm-hmm.
And the 4-year-old knows how to open the sliding door with her nose. And when she
you're in
does
trouble.
Somebody's trying to break into the house, which
so which one of them knows how to crank up a Bronco yet?
Hopefully none of them, because they love riding in the Bronco.
No, but so you said your wife, right? Your wife took over the two-door that you bought?
Two-door, yes.
Well, that's what I was alluding to earlier. So you got this two-door because you thought it was cool. It was a good deal. But then suddenly you lost it again.
It something about it, and I can't say, just something about it just grabbed my eye.
Yeah.
You know, Outer Banks, and you know, it was just everything that I never thought of getting. I never thought of getting a two-door. It's Cyber Orange, and Cyber Orange is discontinued now. So I think that's kind of cool as to the coolness.
Yep. 2-year run, right? 2-year run on that.
2.3 liter. And you know, it just kept on talking to me for some reason. And the next morning, I went in at 8 a.m. and I put a deposit down on it. But I thought it was gonna be mine. When I
all right, so you want to get some hate comments going here? What do you think about oil catch cans between a 2.3 and a 2.7? Which one is needed more, or are they equally needed? What do you think on that? I'm not trying to put you on the spot. Tell me if you don't want to answer it. I'll take one for the team.
I would say a 2.3 needs it. Now that 2.3, it has dual fuel and the fuel systems, right?
2.3 is direct injection only.
So it definitely needs it. Yeah, I would say that.
Yeah, but check this out. Check this out. So the 2.7 we know is dual injection, right? So you've got high pressure injection into the cylinder, direct injection. You also have low pressure into the port,
And
sort of
that's your
like the old school
valves
port
also.
injection.
Okay.
The Bronco Raptor 3.0, which is a modified 2.7. And I don't mean to, when I say modified 2.7, I'm not trying to discount it. I'm simply saying they started with the 2.7 and built it, right, to a 3-liter. It's direct injection only with no oil catch can.
Oh, wow.
But there's a difference. The difference is the 3.0 Raptor engine does not have the hot gas recirculation that the 2.7 has.
Wow.
So I've been
That's
trying to figure out, look, I don't want to even talk about it live or on a video. I just want to know for me, what does the hot gas circulation have to do with carbon buildup, if anything? Maybe it has nothing to do with it. I just wanted some feedback. Because if you take a Bronco Raptor 3.0, the chance of you running the heck out of that engine is pretty good, right?
Mm.
And they've built that engine to run hard, to also be a low RPM, a torque monster. See, a lot of people, we talk about the V8 Broncos, and I'm a V8 fan. Don't get me wrong. But I'll also tell you this. I know this to be true. Ford can do more with torque in a V6 than they can a V8.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the Coyote, for example, or even a 7.3, your torque ranges are typically at your higher RPMs. Well, what are you doing in a Bronco? You're crawling, right? You're
Low
in the
RPM.
mud. You're slow. I mean, unless you're doing some Baja stuff, which the Bronco Raptor solves that problem by keeping the boost going in the turbos, right? So it doesn't allow the turbo to lose boost as you go off a throttle. There's a time limit that it won't lose boost until a certain length of time. But my thing was, I'm trying to figure out, how are they keeping the valves clean in a 3.0 or a 2.3 without it being dual injection? So I think I might install an oil catch can in one of my Broncos and see if we can determine in the plugs over the 100,000 miles which one does better. What do you think about that? Would that be a good video?
Yeah, excellent. But also, every now and then, every month or so, open it up, twist it off, and see how much oil is in there, if any. See if it's accumulated in the catch can itself.
Yeah, because and I've seen some people pull them out. Now, there's also not all oil catch cans are created equal, right?
Mhm.
If you look at how PCV systems work in a Bronco, some at 1 RPM, it's at a low static or a negative pressure, and at certain parts of the port, it's at a positive pressure. When you're building boost, you're stuffing air into the intake. When you're not building boost, you're pulling it in like a vacuum cleaner,
Mhm.
right? Like a conventional naturally aspirated engine.
Yeah.
So there's just that one thing that I don't think you'll find if you had 10 YouTube channels with 10 different possible scenarios, you might not get 10 of the same answers, right?
Yeah.
10 channels with the same answer.
Agreed.
I think some of it's driving habits. Some of it's the quality of fuel that you buy. What octane are you buying? What type of oil are you using? Right? Because, there's certain types of oil that have more vapor. They'll basically vaporize more than others. Are you using synthetic blend or synthetic?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so it's convoluted, right? It's not just, I mean, the harder you drive one, like I can look at someone's Bronco and look at their MPG and tell how hard they drive it.
Yeah.
The lower the MPG on, say, a 2.7, the more carbon buildup they're going to have because they have more blow by because they're on the gas harder. That Bronco would need walnut blasting before mine will because I'm in the gas less. So there again, let the comments roll in. Let's see. Mike Mack said, I did the and I never can say this, by the way. Maybe you can help me say it. The Mishimoto. Is that how you say it?
Mishimoto.
Mishimoto.
Yeah.
Mishimoto oil catch can. Good, Mike Max. Good job on that. Let me pop that
Yeah,
comment
I
out there.
actually have a. Well, I'm giving one of my videos away, but I have.
No, don't spill the beans if you don't have to.
Okay, let me rephrase it. I have a Mishimoto part on order for the 2.7 liter Bronco that we have,
and that's why you should go to I'm Gone in 60, subscribe, hit the bell icon, all notifications, so you'll know when he drops a video, and you just might see this video.
I've been slacking on the bullet content since the Maverick and the Bronco came out, but I'll be back with the bullet content. It's just funny how the channel started as a Mustang channel, evolved into Mustang and fast cars, kind of performance channel. And then, next thing you know, I have Maverick content and I have Bronco content, and I'm just, it's kind of evolving. But I welcome everything. So it's
well, and I mean, I still have my old sign. My wife got me this for Christmas. I gotta shine it. But we started out Bronco Wild Outdoors. My son and I, Gavin, we just had this cool little, hey, let's do some videos on the Bronco. We thought it was cool.
Definitely.
Like, I don't know what it is about the Bronco, but I've always been a Ford guy and I've been a Mustang guy. And I have, of course, this is my shameless plug for the night. My book, Driven. Which this is my Mustang sitting in the garage in it, but I've always been a Mustang. I've owned a Mustang since I was 16 years old, and I'm over 50 now.
Awesome. I've had every Mustang body style since 1987. I've owned every Mustang body style except the SN95. So the 94.
Have you really?
I've had every one. Yeah, I'm proud to say that.
You're my hero. You're my hero.
I want to put you on the spot. I plan on buying your book. However, I want you to sign it. I want you to autograph it for me. Now, the reason why I'm saying I'm putting you on the spot is because all of a sudden you may start getting requests for autographed copies. But
you know what? If you go to drivenwildgear.com and order one of my books, every single book that comes from drivenwildgear.com gets autographed.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it gets a date in there. And I'll tell you something else. This book, so a lot of people say, well, we're talking Broncos and Mustangs and cars. Like a lot of people, and right now, you need that new idea. You need the one more thing. You need what gets you going, right? Like maybe it's make more money so you can buy the car you really want, or maybe it's to get the job you really want. But a car changed it changed my life. I had a great home life, mom and dad, absolutely. And by the way, my dad, who passed away in 1991, is a big part of this book. Mm-hmm. And I think it's a really cool story. But to answer your question, I'll sign every book that goes through drivenwildgear.com. I sign it and date it.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
Will personally sign it to your name, because this book here, if you want to grow and succeed in life, my story's here. And trust me, I'm no one special, but a car connected me. What happened was this old Mustang here I saw it when I was 13. I have a bike. You can't see it. I went overboard. I bought the exact same bike that I had in 1983. It's a Huffy Bandit. And if you know what a Huffy Bandit looks like, it's black and gold. I was on a black and gold Huffy Bandit when I was 13 years old, and I saw this black and gold Mustang that I just had to have. Couple problems. I was 13. I didn't have any money. It was 3 years before I could even get my license. The car wasn't for sale. None of that mattered. I'm going to buy that car. I manifested it. Like in my head, I said, none of this other stuff matters. Reality didn't matter. I'm going to own it. You want to know the rest of the story? You know the deal, Des, right? Buy the book.
Buy the book. How to buy the book.
So
for sure.
seriously though, in the car thing, we started talking earlier about Bronco and Mustang, and I don't want to get too scatterbrained all over the board, but for me being a Ford fan, it makes it easy to be happy that I see Jim Farley standing on a stage at what Kentucky Down, or what's it called in Kentucky? Churchill Churchill Downs. What's the
Okay.
big horse racing place in Kentucky? Churchill Downs, right?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, he was standing on stage talking about the truck that is built for the builders. And what he means is the people that build America. And I'm thinking, I don't know if it's just me, and the more I become aware of Ford on the social media side of things, but I think Ford Motor Company has become more of a company for the people. Like you can, the Bronco took a lot of people from where they were in life, especially July of 2020, right? Life
Right.
had changed for a lot of people,
Yeah.
and it gave you an idea where you could be or wanted to be. Out in the wild, in nature, having fun. You could picture it with your family. The Bronco, or excuse me, the F Series Super Duty puts it into where it's for the builders, it's for the tradesmen, for the people who build the country, right? Service the country, build the country. I think Ford has found the magic in communication, that they can help you connect with where you want to be, or they can also give you the reality of, and this from being in commercial sales, the e-transit, whether it be, when I say e-transit, so e-transit or transit, gas or electric,
Electric, yeah.
the F series, 150, 250, or 350 or on, that's the core vehicle that companies need to build, right, this country. Like if you look at Florida, for example, and all the chaos going on right now, when the recovery starts, how many F series trucks are going to be down there doing it?
Yeah.
So I think
Yep.
Ford's had a really good way of connecting. What do you think? I mean, you're in the business, right, to sell vehicles to people.
And the cool thing about what I do is it's the type of person I deal with. These
Yep.
these business people, and they're handshake guys. And that's what I'm a handshake type of person. I never people was telling me when I was in service that I should have been in sales years ago, and I never wanted to be in sales because I didn't want to be confused as that sleazy, quick talking, fast talking guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It sends chills down my spine. And so when I got this opportunity, it's funny that I'm sure they're still laughing at me at work, but my first like 2 weeks, I was a button down shirt and slacks and Stacey Adams, and I'm looking at my the other two big time sales guys in my department, these guys that are,
Yeah.
I mean, doing it for years, and they're wearing shorts, shorts and a polo shirt. And I'm like, okay. And the type of people I deal with, these business guys, they're down to earth. My customers, I go over there and talk to them, or, deliver a vehicle, or,
Yeah.
give them business cards, and they're in jeans, they're in jeans and a button down shirt and boots, and
Right.
you come in and it's a different, you don't want that interpretation like, hey, I'm just here to sell you a vehicle and get in and out. So yeah.
Hey, I can relate to that more than I think.
Really?
So in 1990, God, I'm an old guy. 1997, I was in the heating and air conditioning, and I worked for, a company, and they said, hey, we need someone in sales. And as a service technician, the funny thing was I had to go to sales meetings, but as a service technician, I was selling more than the sales manager.
Wow.
Like, why do I need to sit in a meeting with you talking when I need to be teaching the class? But that was the 27-year-old me, all that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, they put me in the sales department. The first day I showed up, button-up shirt, khaki pants, and they were like, man, like, you just overdressed for the part. The magic was the reason why I sold so many HVAC units when I was a service technician, because I was dirty. I was working on an AC unit, and the next call was, somebody needed an estimate, or their system was done, right? It was dead and needed to be replaced. People could relate to those who are at some point on this. When I say on the same level, I don't mean that somebody's more important than the other, but I mean you perceive to be on the same level, right?
Mhm.
I came home from the shipyard. I'm dirty. Here you are working on my AC. You're dirty. You and I have rapport.
Yeah.
Because if you're not careful, you can't build rapport with people.
Right.
And so rapport was built because we were both dirty. We were both sweaty. We both had a long day. And it occurred to me that you have to be comfortable in your own skin. And however that requires you to be dressed, you can dress down and do better than someone that dressed up but is out of their element. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're saying you just dress for the part. I don't need to deal with somebody in a suit and tie to buy a vehicle. As a matter of fact, the young lady I buy my vehicles from, she always dresses nice, but it doesn't look like she's going to a funeral. Like she's doing business with me, right? And she looks nice and dressed nice, but the bottom line is we're doing business together and we're like both on the same level. Not somebody's worried about, well, geez, I underdressed to come buy a vehicle. So I do get that.
Yeah.
Hey, so I've left the cliffhanger long enough. So my Bronco Raptor, do you want to know what's going on with that?
Definitely.
All right. So I found out because I've been a bad client. I haven't been paying attention to all of my emails because I get a gazillion a day. And that's a number, a gazillion. So what happened was when we got pushed to a 23, it automatically, for some odd reason, went into a priority code 99.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So last week we had a conversation about what do you want to do? And I said, okay, well, we don't have it now. And I don't know if another month is going to make a difference. So let's wait. The deadline is the end of November, I think it is.
Okay.
You might know more about that today, but anyway, the end. So on November 10th, we're going to convert it from a priority code 99 back to an active order.
Okay.
And we should get picked up within 30 days, I'm hearing, for a 23, which will then be delivered the first part of 23, right? January, February. So here we go again with the January, February build.
So
that's our situation with our Bronco Raptor.
And what color are you guys getting? Or is that one of the secrets?
No, we're getting code orange.
Code orange. Okay.
Code orange seat belts, Lux package.
Wow.
Marine grade vinyl. That's it. Now I know the Lux, like if I was doing it again and we have the two Badlands sort of really the same other than the color in the top.
Mm-hmm.
If I was going to pick two of the same trims, one would be Lux and one would be without. Because I can tell someone right now, if you want to do aftermarket bumpers, you probably want to avoid Lux. Because when you avoid Lux, that gives you more options for aftermarket bumpers than it does with Lux. Yeah. Adaptive cruise control is cool and all that, except it starts to affect what bumpers that you can use aftermarket, right?
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. So if your deal is like, I want a Bronco, I'm getting it, and I know what bumper I'm going with, and it's aftermarket, if it's not made to work directly with adaptive cruise control, you need to back off the Lux and go high, still get the 12-inch screen if that's what you want, but just not go with all the other stuff, and then upgrade your audio as needed aftermarket. So I wanted the B&O. I didn't want adaptive cruise control necessarily, but I wanted B&O. So we went, and I wanted the USB in the dash. So I went with Lux.
Okay.
But if I was selling Broncos, and you tell me if I'm wrong, if I was selling Broncos, then I would say, hey, Like, what do you want to do? And if you know you're going to modify the bumpers, I would go high package.
The high package, in my opinion, is so my 4-door is a high package, and it's a great package. It had everything I wanted. My main thing was the zone lighting, the 360-degree cameras, and the 12-inch screen. That was my main thing.
Yeah.
Now that the 2-door is actually a luxe package, and it comes with the phone charger, the wireless phone charger, and it comes with the adaptive cruise control and everything, and the B&O. It's great, but my thought is I'm spending $3,000 basically for the B&O sound system, because out of everything in the package, that's all I really wanted. But now that I have it, and the B&O sound system, actually, it sounds great in the 2-door. It sounds excellent in my in the Bullet, and it sounded really, really good also in the Maverick. Now, some people, they like it, they don't like it, but that was my genuine consensus, is that hey, I can put an upgraded sound system in it, but the high package has everything that I want in my Bronco. So.
Right. Well, I mean, but when you buy one, like you ran across the 2-door Cyber Arms, I mean, it had Lux. I mean, like you're just going with the deal, right? It's not like when you're ordering it, right? It is what it is. Hey, if you don't mind, we're gonna hit some comments here. Bronco 78 said Dwayne would be bringing the Bronco Raptors Supercell, and then he said, or should I say Becky? I would say it would be Becky, Bronco 78. You know the deal. You met her, she runs the show. I'm just her helper here. Overlanding for Fun said, I bet Becky's going to like her new Bronco Raptor. Tim, you know the deal. It's hers. It's not mine. Mike Max, let's see. Mike Max said, okay, got to wake up at 3 a.m. So good night. Good night, Mike Max. Sorry if you've already checked out. If you see it on a replay, thank you so much for tuning in and checking out with us tonight. We will definitely be in Supercell. Now, what we're driving is another story. We have no idea, but we'll be in Broncos. Okay, we'll go from there. Let's see, Bronco 78. I can't say about Chevy work trucks I've had. See, I make these mistakes. I start at the bottom and I work my way up when I need to work my way up, and I need to stay in the conversation. We have some good comments that came in here while we were talking. So, one of the things, I appreciate my guest. And so if you've commented, I'm not ignoring your comments. I value my guest's time. And in this case, Des, we're keeping Des up from, what are we keeping you from tonight, Des? I'm looking for your comments. I'm like, wait a minute. Des is not in the comments tonight. What's up? And I'm like, wait a minute, dude, I'm talking to you.
I'm live this time. But also, real quick, I want to thank you for inviting me, because like I said, I really enjoy, and there's not a whole lot of channels that I do watch, but for sure, you and Dave, I'm always, it's always entertaining and informative at the same time. So thank you for sharing me with your audience. I hope your audience likes this video, and but definitely much appreciated for having me on tonight.
I think most people that watch our channel, they like real conversations, and they're not worried about, if there's a mistake, if there's too many or whatever. They're worried about like content. Why do you like Bronco? What do you do? What do you do? And why do you do it? Right.
Sure.
And if I can indulge that to our average, to our viewer that we connect with on a weekly basis. And I think that most people just like to know, what's your idea on it? Now you're buying, you bought a Bronco, you sold a Bronco, you still have a Bronco, then you got another Bronco and you got rid of a Maverick. I mean, you're moving vehicles around too. And part of this is personal. It's not business. It's just personal.
Yeah. Like I said, I think a lot of people want to get rid of that Maverick, but
yeah. And I think a lot of people see that though. And they see, well, wait a minute. Someone else has had to make this decision I've have to make, right? And the automotive industry is changing so much. What we've known, you and I have grown up with one industry, it's now completely different. Inventory, manufacturers, I think, are making more money based on the way it is. Ordering a vehicle, having it delivered is such a great concept. There's less inventory, there's less interest, there's less insurance, there's less floor planning. If you think about it, it's better business, except you have to now educate, which is part of what we're doing with Service Secrets Academy, our company that we have. Educate contractors. Just don't, maybe you have the old van that whatever brand, whatever condition, it is your temporary savior until your new ordered van comes in.
Yeah, right.
Right. So maybe you have that spare vehicle, that people have to drive. And two things is you get to test out what kind of employee are they? Or are they somebody truly, they interviewed well, but are they truly part of the team?
Yeah.
And in 6 months, when the new van comes in, guess what? You solidify that. Okay, they're great. They're awesome. They drove an old crappy van. Now let me put them in a good new one and let's go make some money together, right?
Yeah.
If they stuck around driving some old raggedy squeaking van, perfect. Put them in the new one, send them down the road, make some money together.
Awesome.
All right, Des here. Let's see. Jonathan said, I need lumber this weekend. Had to get my nephew pick me up. Yeah. So there you go. I mean, speaking of a Maverick, right? Maybe you don't need a truck every day, but you need to pick up a few things. You need to go to IKEA, pick up some furniture, perfect vehicle, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. Bronco 78 was asking somebody if they had Sasquatch or non-Sasquatch. Des, what's your take on Sasquatch or non? If you're going to modify your Bronco and do a lift, do you think Sasquatch is a good investment initially?
So both of my Broncos, neither one of them have Sasquatch package. I wish they did. Mainly front and rear lockers, and the suspension. That's a good one too. The advanced 4x4 is amazing, because the two-door does not have it. And I find myself, so I'm always in too high and, having to, either go to a goat mode or change it myself. Whereas the 4-door, I always keep it in automatic. Don't have to worry about, when it's needed. But the Sasquatch package, it has its, I think it's worth it mainly. And, everybody wants it for the 35s. I think it's mainly for that Haas suspension and the front and rear lockers that's going to come with it. But unfortunately, I don't have it in either. But I didn't order it just to save money and put the money where I wanted it. I wanted it, in the 2.7, the 4 auto transmission. I wanted leather, and then I wanted the high package. So it's something that I could, Ibach has a new set of coilovers out right now for the Bronco, and I'm looking into that right now.
Well, I mean, and there again, cool upgrade and a great video, right? So if you're going to do it, video the heck out of it and say, hey, because I know you did the top video, which was, if you're going to paint a MIC top, how should you approach it, right?
I just got tired of them pushing everything back. And once I got my hand on my first hardtop, I was like, that's it. I'm going to paint it gloss black. I think it would look really good with the cactus gray. So I figured, hey, there is another channel. I can't think of his name now, but he actually painted his top white. And I spoke with him and told him, hey man, next week I'm going to paint mine gloss black. And we've kind of kept in contact. I don't remember. Unfortunately, I don't remember the name of his channel. I believe it's Sunshine Acres. I believe
Sunshine. I'll check it out. Hey, there's a guy on here, and I don't know if anybody watching this right now knows him, but Budget Bronco. Have you seen this guy's channel?
Yeah, he's got some great.
I want to have him on the show one night.
Yeah, he's basically made his own heritage Bronco before they even were coming out.
Yeah, and I love the idea of taking the base and building it to what you want it to be. And sorry about all the dinging in the background. My daughter she's texting me 1,000 times like, hey, are you off the live yet? Well, go to YouTube and find out. But no, seriously. The Budget Bronco has a really cool channel, and I do want to reach out to him. And if you follow him or know the guy by chance, say, hey, this guy Driven Wild would like to talk to you about your deal, because I'm impressed by what he's been able to do with a base. Take a base and build it to exactly what he wants, no more, no less.
Yeah.
Right. And it's cool. Hey, TJ Miller said, I mentioned this on this All Terrain Nation. Who is that? All Terrain Nation. That's who we're all striving to be. My buddy Dave and Kelly, really Kelly and Dave, I should say.
Kelly and Dave.
Yeah, Kelly and Dave. Anyway, the other night that Bronco came in with the advanced 4x4 with automatic engagement, and it's not on the sticker, and I didn't pay for it. It's a $795 option.
Wow.
What in the world do you think happened there?
Every now and then
I don't want to put you on the spot.
Every now and then you get a missed bill.
Yeah.
In this case, it worked out for him. He didn't have to pay it.
Well, I'm sure you're not going to complain about it, right?
No, not at all.
Mike Mack said his Black Diamond worked out to be $57,000. Wow. we paid $59,000, and I don't know if this is with tax or after, but I think it was like MSRP, I want to say, was $59 for Badlands, Sasquatch, Lux. It was roughly $700 more for the hardtop versus the soft top. So both of them were slightly below $60,000. I mean, if anybody wants to know, that's really where we were. Let's see. And TJ Miller said, thanks, Ford. Yeah, that's an early Christmas present while we're at it. Hey, Des, are you doing okay, or you need to go?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Okay.
I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying
see,
myself.
Jason.
I hope your subscribers are enjoying it.
Oh, I hope so. And like I said, we have a lot of, and by the way, right now, if you're watching live, hit that like button for me. And if you're watching us for the first time, if you would hit subscribe and the bell icon, the little bell there, and all notifications, I would greatly appreciate it. It goes a long way. YouTube says, hey, if they like this video, we're going to spread it to other people. More people will see it. So I would greatly appreciate you hit that like button for me. Jason K said, I think we have this here, OBX rear locker is optional. Standard is 3.73, open style rear axle final. There you go.
That's it. Yeah. And I just don't remember, clicking that on my original order, but hey, it is what it is.
Hey, by the way, what is this? Des, you see this comment here? Dwayne is a fanboy. What the heck? Hey, Tim. Tim, would you like to elaborate, my friend? Let's see. Bird Dog Overland joined us. Welcome, Bird Dog Overland. And by the way, if you haven't checked his channel out, I highly suggest you go over there and check it out. Bird Dog Overland on YouTube. Great videos, great mods and accessories. So especially for the overlanding, if overlanding's your deal, go over there, check it out. There's a lot of cool stuff there. I highly recommend it. Let's see. But Tim, I'm going to highlight this again. Tim, what's up, brother? I'm a fanboy. I don't understand. But yeah, if you're talking about Ford, I am a fan. You have to like something, right, Des?
Yeah.
I don't know. What was your first experience with Ford? I mean, what was the first thing that you said, hey, I like a Mustang or whatever?
It was the Fox bodies, and I was in high school, and, I remember the Camaro. So here's my deal. Well, I've always been a Ford fan. Mm-hmm. That was my high school dream car. I said, I'm going to have an emerald green Fox body Mustang with a black convertible top. My first Mustang was an emerald green LX 5.0 with a white convertible top. Huh. But to me, that was my dream car. That was my dream car. It was attainable. I didn't know back then. I didn't know anything, about how much cars cost. I just knew I wanted it. It was my hero. It was my hero car. That's the easiest way to put it. And my first one when I was finally buying that Fox body wasn't the price of the car that stopped me. It was the price of the insurance. So when I got old enough to finally able to afford the insurance, I bought one. I've had a Mustang pretty much ever since. But you know, they keep on getting better. And I'm in the performance end of it. I'm more into the curves than the quarter mile, or
Right.
I'm a big fan of the new speed events now, whether it's half mile or, you know, the Texas. I don't know if you're familiar with the Texas mile.
No, I'm
Um,
not.
it's a speed event. It's a standing mile speed event. It's held twice a year here in Texas, and the vehicles, cars, trucks, motorcycles, you name it, are trying to hit 200 miles an hour in a mile from a standing mile, and then have about a half a mile to slow down. Fun fact: the Ford GT runs this speed event, and there is a Ford. There's a either it's an 05, 06 Ford GT. They have the speed record of 300.4 miles an hour, the first and only vehicle that's hit 300. And when you go there, you see everything. You see twin turbo this, twin turbo Lamborghinis. I mean, you see Hayabusas with turbos on them and nitrous. I mean, it's crazy. But the Ford GT runs that event.
So did I tell you? And was that the Heritage paint job on that, the blue and orange, the one that broke that record or holds the record?
Yeah, at that time, yeah, it had that Golf.
Yeah, the Golf. Yeah,
I believe it had the Golf library. Yeah, I did. I believe.
yeah, the Golf livery.
They've
I
changed
say
it
Heritage, but
over the
typically,
years.
yeah, the
Yeah.
Golf. Right. Yeah. So I remember seeing that. Did you ever hear my story where I had a chance to buy a Ford GT brand new in 07?
Yeah, I don't remember why you passed on it, but I've heard you mention that a couple of
My
times.
lovely wife, who I love dearly, said it was too much money. So
Uh-huh.
basically, it was for MSRP, which in 06 or 07 was 140.
Wow,
And we passed on it.
that's a bargain.
And because she thought it was a lot of money for a car, right?
Mhm.
And every time Barrett Jackson has an auction, I make her watch it with me.
I bet.
Yeah.
I bet.
And so I said, we're not passing the Bronco Raptor up at all, forever and
There you
ever.
go.
You know, is it the same? No, it's not the exact same. However, there's a lot of nuances with the Bronco Raptor because you can't guarantee, you know, when I bought my Shelby GT 500, they said they were going to build like 8,500. It was going to be a 1 year deal. Then it turned into 2 years. And then, you know, here we are. The 23s are getting ready to launch. And then I guess that'll be it until a few years later, which
Yeah.
we'll wrap our live stream up talking about the Ford Mustang, I think.
Awesome.
But I do want to go through our comments because I love answering the comments here. Let's see. Let's do that. Photobomb Steve. That's who we were talking about. The guy that kept showing up in the photos down in Townsend, Tennessee. Oh, let's see. Bird Dog Overland. Okay. Bird Dog Overland actually said to you, Des, that he would love to see you at Super Celebration East. So if you can make it in your schedule,
I'd like to go. Yeah, I'd like to go. It's
it is one of the coolest events ever, by the way.
it'll be.
Let's see. Mike Mack said I went to New Hampshire and it was freaking awesome. And I'm an off-roader, so I'm assuming Bronco Off Rodeo, New Hampshire.
Okay.
So you went to that. Did you do Texas?
Yeah, we did Texas. We did. Yeah.
Okay.
It was the closest thing to us, and you know, it worked out well. But like I said, it was to me, it was life changing. You know, some people that maybe have more off roading experience, you know, may think, oh, it was okay or it was nice, but to me, it was life changing. I thought it was amazing.
Hey, check this out. Shay said I got my build date for my Bronco Raptor October 3rd. Now, I know
Wow.
this comment came in a while ago, so I hope you're still here. Congratulations, by the way. That is
Wow.
that is
Amazing.
cool. That is cool. Let's see. Yeah, Tim just needs he's poking the bear here. He says, I'm seeing Dwayne's Raptor being Becky's Raptor. It actually is because, you know, she is the boss and I get to drive what she says I can drive. Overlanding for fun. We already knew that would be the case. Bronco 78 said that. They're just picking on me about who's the boss around this place.
Right.
Let's see. The comments just get great. TJ Miller, my 2.7 Bronco would be straight. What my 2016 F-150 5.0. You know, the thing, Des, and I don't know what you think about the new 2.7s. The 2.7 or even the 2.3, right? I mean, the 2.3 is a tried and true tested engine from the Mustang.
Yep.
And what the Focus RS, I think it was in. Now the Bronco. That's a good engine.
Yeah.
The 2.7 builds on that.
Yeah. Yeah. I bought a 15 EcoBoost when they first came out. 2015. I had to test out the IRS, the independent rear suspension in it. And that car was a 6-speed manual. It was a performance package, so it had the GT brakes on it, and the suspension, all that. It was a really nice car. Even had the Recars in it. And just a couple of modifications, and that thing was 400 horsepower, and it was a sleeper.
Wow.
Amazing. Yeah, I would actually slow down, roll the windows down, and tell people, "Hey, this is a 4-cylinder," and just watch their jaw drop.
Yeah, right. The sleeper. TJ Miller said, "I have a JLT catch can on my 03 Mach 1. Works great. I was thinking about adding one in my 2.7." Well, probably wouldn't be a bad deal. And I think, is it the GT 500 that comes with a catch can? I think one of them came with it.
Yeah, they send it to you, or they send it. They send it to you, but it's a dealer installed item.
Oh, cool. Mike Max said, "Been watching you since you started, and I have to get the book." Well, thank you, Mike Max. I appreciate that. drivenwildgear.com. And look, we have some cool stuff. We have this little character that we created for this channel, and he's getting ready to make his debut. I've been treating this channel as it's just been Gavin and I having fun with it, but now we're trying to put a lot more effort behind it because we truly want to bring more and more consistent info. And I think we're going to be doing that. Stay tuned for that. That's going to be cool. Oh, let's see. Mike Max said, "I have to subscribe if it's the other catch can. I've been watching you since you started." Okay, got to say no. Thank Mike Max for that. I definitely appreciate it. Hey, by the way, I didn't mention this, but Nick Kefkin, he said basically he has a 19, I think it's 70s Bronco, and he's happy with it. So he has like the original OG straight up Bronco that there is, right? Awesome. I mean, they started in 66, but between 66 and 70, what happened? The engines changed, right? 70 had a 302 versus what was that, a 289?
Probably 289.
Yeah, because 302s came about in 68. So anyway, he has a very cool Bronco. Do you ever watch Bronco Nation stuff?
I do, yeah.
So did you see the Return of the Legend video that they just launched?
I did. I have not.
So it basically, the Bronco returns to Iceland. And if you think about it, Bronco sales were down back in the 60s, early 70s. They pushed a lot of them out to Iceland. People there loved them, and they became big hits. And now the Bronco returns, and it's really cool to watch it. Definitely go over to Bronco Nation. Check that out. It was actually pretty cool. Oh, let's see. Bird Dog Overland. Let's see what's going on here. I have a catch can system, J&L, sitting here waiting to be installed. Well, what are you waiting on, my friend? Let's get it done. Let's get a video. I want to see if it works. Let's see. Started with a 93 Mustang GT 5.0, ended up 150 horses in 20 and raced it. You know, Des, you talked about the first Mustang was a 5.0 Fox body, right?
Yeah.
The very first Mustang I ever saw was a 1987 Fox body. It was GT. It was black with that red pinstripe. The very first time I ever saw this car was sideways. The guy was pulling in the street where I grew up in. He was sideways. He is smoking the tires. And I was like, God. And my black and gold Mustang, this one here, the first time I owned it before I sold it, it was sitting in front of and I was like, oh my God, I got to have one of those. Right. So the wheels started turning again. I'd achieved this dream, and now I started a new one. I unfortunately sold my 91 GT, which I truly knew this was going to happen. I regret it.
Well, you did a poll, didn't you?
I did it. I sold it. But you know what? I'm almost think driven again is happening, right? Because I'm going to buy that car back. There'll come a point in time to where somebody says, I don't want to sell it. And then I put enough money in front of them and they say, you know what? Here's the keys. And that's essentially how life works, right? So do I buy the car back? I don't know. Trust me, I don't have anything in the works, but my intention is to get the car back one day, because just like this one, when I sold it in 1988, I screwed up. You're like, well, you did it in 88 and knew you made a mistake. Why'd you do it again?
Yeah.
If I knew the answer to that, I would be doing all kinds of cool stuff. Now, just so I don't butcher someone's name, Des, how would you pronounce his name? Phenom or
Phenom Unit?
Phenom Unit? I mean, forgive me if I'm saying it wrong. Still have my folks 1982 Peugeot 505 wagon, 4-speed manual. Would never get rid of it. Don't ever get rid of it. If it has any kind of sentimental value, keep it. Mike Mack said, I'm in the business of moving stone and tile, and Ford has moved every piece I've paved. And then he said, comment, update, laid. Let's see. Yeah, let's see. Of course, the comments get a little rowdy here. Let's see here. What do we got? Mike Max agreed. Bronco 78. Des, we're going to finish with this, and I'll let you go because I've kept you up like way too late.
It's all good, man.
So Gavin and I had this cool little event. So we applied to become media members at Detroit Auto Show, and we were accepted. Certain places he couldn't go because of his age, but certain places he could. But one of the coolest things is being invited to the Mustang launch, the 2024 S650 launch. And I have to tell you something. Ford Motor Company knows how to build excitement. They know how to throw a party. Having that new Mustang there, what did you think when you saw it? I mean, I guess watching the live stream, what did you think? Were you like, this is it, or miss, or what?
I liked it a lot. I was blown away. To me, each new generation of Mustang gets better and better. As long as it's handling better and it's getting more power, I'm a fan of it. And I understand some people, didn't really care for it, but the same thing happened with the S550. That came out in 2015. The S197 guys were, griping about it. They didn't like the front end. They call it catfish, this and that. 2 years later, everybody has an S550.
Right, right.
But the angles of the front end and the angles of the rear end of this car, I guarantee you have to see it in person. It's going to look a lot better than on film, pictures and video. I think it's amazing. I like what they did to it. I love the interior. Dark Horse, man, that's a whole nother statement. I mean, it's amazing. But also, I like the way they did the front end different on all three vehicles. So the EcoBoost, the GT, and the Dark Horse, they all have a different front end, and I think that's awesome. I think a lot of times, somebody throws a badge on something and you think it's something totally different. In this case, you can't do that. Now, I will say I'm still waiting, and from what I heard, this got pushed back a couple of years, but they're still thinking about it. I'm still waiting for the 5.0 hybrid all-wheel drive. That'll be my next Mustang. I'm stuck on all-wheel drive is what it is, Dwayne. I'm stuck on all-wheel drive.
I hear you. And the CD6 platform, which is basically the Ford Explorer. Mm-hmm. So when I looked at the spy photos, I was like, there's no way that's a 119-inch wheelbase. No. So the Mustang's 107-inch wheelbase. The CD6 Explorer, which is the best way to describe. If you look at a Ford Explorer, that's the CD6 platform. That's a 119-inch wheelbase. Well, it was said that if you were going to do a hybrid, you would need that platform to do it with.
Yeah, because they
But
put
when I
that
saw the
motor.
But let me tell you something about the spy photos. You know, something that I'm going to break some news right here. Not that maybe someone cares or they don't care, but I'm going to do a video on this. That Mustang you saw running around Detroit with the camos on it, it might have had some components in it from the S650, but it wasn't an S650, at least in total. So first of all, it didn't have the right brakes on it. It didn't have the right size rotors. It didn't have the right calipers. If you look at a new Mustang, the S650, you have a small caliper in the, say, toward the rear of the car up kind of high, which is where the calipers are typically installed. But now you have the new Brembo, brake calipers down on the side near the door.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what's happened is, if you ask me, and I don't know this to be true, but the small caliper is for the E drift brake that has been added.
Yeah.
However, if they would have driven around town with both calipers on there, most people would have figured out, hey, what's up with this? We have two calipers on this thing.
Yeah.
So I think they left it off of that. And I almost think that the one running around was a decoy.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't have the 3.0 Coyote. It has the 4.0. You know, it has the twin throttle bodies, the twin air boxes, which it has the Predator rods, which, if you ask me, why would they do that? They're doing that because they're going to boost it or supercharge it or something different in the future. Maybe a dealer installed Whipple, right?
Yeah.
So you could pay your dealer to do it and keep your OEM stuff.
One of the speed shops, I think it may be Lethal. They're already advertising the next generation supercharger for the 24 Mustang. They said they're already starting to come in. So yeah.
So is it going to be OEM or is it going to be aftermarket?
It's aftermarket. It was I believe it was a Whipple.
Hmm?
But yeah.
Well, yeah, Whipple's who makes for the Predator.
That's right.
Yeah.
This is going to be aftermarket that you add on there, but I mean, they've already, I think it's cool that Ford is already working with these companies to, for something that's going to fit on there. I think it's going to be amazing, naturally aspirated. The horsepower, they're saying just the GT is going to have at least 480 horsepower. Well, the dyno video I did on my Bullet, it's rated at 480. It's more like 510 actually.
Right. So,
I like the way they kind of underrate stuff. They did it with the Bronco. They underrated horsepower on the Bronco were, a goal of 300 and, it went to 330 and the 4-cylinder, 2.3 went to 300 with premium fuel. So I'm just curious. I'm curious about it when it comes out. I think they knocked it out of the park. I like it. There's not really much I don't like about it.
Yeah. But I'm glad you said that too about the premium. Do you know the one thing that hasn't been brought up yet? The 3.0 Ford Performance. One of the engineers told me that those horsepower numbers was based on 87.
Mm-hmm.
Now we know what happened when you did 93. You gained roughly 15 horsepower.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, like, at what point do we say, oh, by the way, if you have a Raptor and you're running 93, you go from 418 to what? 440 ish.
Sound about right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm wondering, is that a conversation that comes up, or is it like not a conversation? But you said it. The GT Mustang is supposed to have 480 horsepower, whereas the Dark Horse is 500.
Mm-hmm.
But those are the low numbers, I think. I think the Dark Horse is 510, 515. The GT maybe is 500. I think that's the surprise that comes later on. I can tell you this from being in Hart Plaza in downtown Detroit. So when you're in this place, it's like stadium seating. And where we were, if you're watching the Ford reveal, when you're watching the big screen behind the Jared was the host. To the right, if you're looking at the screen to the right, there's like a little tunnel there. When that Dark Horse cranked up, you could literally feel it.
Yeah.
I mean, and there was noise, right? People were clearing, cheering, clapping, and everything else. And I heard it, and I looked at Gavin. I was like, "This is the new Shelby, right? Like whatever's down there had some butt to it,
Yeah.
right? You could hear it, you could feel the rumbling, and then of course, then they played the intro, which had the gothic looking horse with the steam coming out of his nose. Then you saw the car. Man, I got to tell you, being there, hearing it, the smoke, the music, and then hearing the actual car and feeling it in the concrete. That car has got some rear to it.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I cannot wait to get my dark horse. And so my dealer said, yes, you're top of the list. When we can order it, we'll order it. So,
That's amazing. Yeah.
but anyway, I just wanted to know your take on that. You're a big Mustang guy.
I'm happy about it, man. There's people that are complaining about it, and it's not even out yet. It's going to be this and it's going to be that, and it's like, look, as long as each generation gets better, and they have been, I'm fine with it. He said, "Bimbo."
Hey, what's up, Andy Ackerman? What's going on, Andy? Andy, welcome to the live stream. I definitely appreciate that, and you made it. I'm glad you made it, and I really appreciate that super chat. Thank you so much, Andy. We can always count on you, my friend. And I don't know if you know this. Andy's a truck driver, and Andy is one of those few people on the planet that actually keeps this place running, right? By keeping stuff flowing. Uh-oh, here we go. I haven't even read this yet. What does it say? Driven Wild Outdoors. You were talking about Doug DeMuro when I typed that. Okay, gotcha. Vanilla Ice put a Fox Body Mustang on the map. Yeah, old Vanilla Ice did. And actually, Vanilla Ice still has that Mustang, by the way.
He still has it, yep. And it's a beast.
That's pretty cool.
It's a beast now.
Yeah, but Andy, thank you so much for showing up here. And I want to get back to another comment, by the way, Des, get your opinion on this. And Shay said, I'm still here. Just check my email while listening to you and watch your show. My Raptor is in production. Congratulations. Man, that is exciting.
It is. Wow.
The Bronco Raptor, too, to be able to get one, you have to go through the hurdles of life, I guess. But it's pretty cool. So let's see here. Des, I keep promising I'm going to let you go here. I think this is it. Oh, here we go. What is your opinion on this? Can you read that?
How bad would it be to drive the Everglades wheels and tires during winter? I'll drive on the Everglades wheels and tires during winter. Being in this topic.
Yeah, so I think Bronco Dude's from Canada.
Okay.
I think. And Bronco Dude, if you're still here, let us know. I think you're from Canada. You're up around Johnny's way there. And or maybe close. But if that's the case, what do you think about that? So if you order an Everglades, right? What about the tires? Would you recommend, if you can find somebody that took the Sasquatch wheels off with the territory tires?
I think what he's trying to say is that I guess they're not, that's the snow peak rating or whatever, how they have the three
temperature and the tread, yeah.
The winter snow and ice. I'm not sure, but I'm not familiar with what tires are coming with that the Everglades.
So I thought they were territories, though, which if they are territories, they're the same as Sasquatch, right?
Yeah, they should be. Okay. Huh, I wonder.
Bronco Dude, if you're still here, I'll tell you what, Johnny at Johnny's Car Care and Review is the best possible solution to that answer, right? I would ask him because he's in your neck of the woods. At least I think you're up there based on some previous comments, and he would definitely be able to advise you better. It's one thing for me to say the occasional snowfall in southeastern Virginia. Man, you guys live it. Mm-hmm. Down here, it's bread, milk, and eggs, and you stay home for 3 days. And, I guess bread, milk, and eggs, that's the whole thing when people buy when they're snowed in, so you can make French toast. What else do you make with that combination of stuff? But Des, I really appreciate you joining us tonight. Is there anything you'd like to finish with that we haven't talked about that you wanted to talk about?
We pretty much covered everything.
2 hours and 19 minutes worth.
That's awesome, man. It feels like we've been on here for an hour. So, I mean, time flies when you're having fun. So I'm really just, like I said, like to thank you and thank your subscribers for having me on here. And definitely, man, this was fun. And, the Bronco talk, Mustang talk, everything we did in between was great.
So if we do a stream on Mustang stuff, would you be interested in coming back on that?
Oh, for sure. Oh,
Okay.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, because we're definitely looking at doing that. We're not going to take the extreme Bronco. We try to talk mostly Bronco stuff, but of course we get off on other stuff as well. But look, I definitely appreciate you being on with us tonight, and we're going to go. I would say that everyone watching right now, you're watching live, hit the like button if you don't mind, hit subscribe and the bell icon. If you're watching on a replay, do the exact same thing. But even on replay, check out I'm Gone in 60 on YouTube and over on Instagram. Really good videos, great topic, great stuff. Highly recommend you check out his channel. And Des, I really appreciate you being here tonight. We were going to talk about a lot of stuff, but I think what happens is the conversation with you and I just went so easy. I didn't need to bring in all this filler stuff. It was just cool. And thank you for that. I really appreciate you.
That's a good thing. Much appreciated, Dwayne.
All right, buddy. I'm out. See you later.
See you later, guys. Thank you.
All right. Bye.